The next set of problems on 6.1 are problems where you have to find the distance between two polar points using the polar distance formula. So let's review that. That's equal to the square root of r1 squared plus r2 squared minus 2 r1 r2 cosine, and then you have to do theta 2 minus theta 1. Sorry, didn't all fit. So you have to memorize that. If you got that memorized, this becomes not a hard problem. So we would say the square root of 4 plus 9 minus 2 times 3, and then the cosine of, let's do pi over 3 minus 19 pi over 12. So that would be 4 pi over 12 minus 19 pi over 12, which is negative 15 pi over 12. So negative 15 pi over 12. Okay, and then you can use your calculator. So grab your calculator and let's bunch it in together. I'm the slowest on earth. Okay, square root it. 4 plus 9 minus 2 times 3 times 2 times the cosine of negative 15, use the pi button, divided by 12. And you should get 4.64. Rounding to the nearest hundredth, as it tells you up here, rounding to the nearest hundredth, it's 4.64. Now, if you didn't get 4.64, if you got 1 point something, you might still be in degrees. This needs to be in radians, okay? In radians. Why? Because that's in radians. So if you were using degrees there, you would have it in degrees. So you have to be able to kind of know when to switch back and forth. But calculus never uses degrees. It's always using radians. So, but it doesn't hurt you to know how to switch back and forth. So let's do number 12. Okay, so number 12 is points 7 and 2 pi over 3 and negative 2 and negative 5. Oops, didn't need a parenthesis. Negative 5 pi over 6. All right, our formula, let's try to remember it. It would be 49 plus 4 minus 2 times 7 times negative 2 times the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6. Okay, hang on. Of course, it doesn't matter which angle you make first, but the formula says use the second one, so I didn't do that, I think, for the last time, but it won't matter. Negative 5 pi over 6 minus 2 pi over 3. So, of course, you have to multiply this by 2. So you get negative 5 pi over 6 minus 4 pi over 6. So you get negative 9 pi over 6, which is negative 3 pi over 2. All right, and punch that into your calculator, and you should get D equals 7.28. All right, I think we have one more of this kind, only it's a word problem. We have an air traffic system, 2 jet pilots. They have coordinates of, okay, they're in degrees, so this is a good practice, 4, 150 degrees, and 2, 195 degrees. Okay, so before you put that into your calculator, you're going to have to change your mode to degrees to get the right answer. So this is the square root of 16 plus 4 minus 2 times 4 times 2 times the cosine of 195 minus 150, which is 45. So we would change radians to degrees, and you should get D equals 2.95 kilometers. Rounding that to the nearest hundredth. And make sure you use units on this because it was a word problem. All right, so that was 11 through 13 of your homework. And we're going to next graph those polar equations for 14 and 19 through 19 on the next video.